We found this huge chunk of walnut at a local sawmill, and when we saw it, we knew we had to make a project. So we decided to keep the waney edge, but we also wanted to miter a rectangular tabletop out of this so the grain flowed all the way around. But how do you go about making something that precise out of this rough piece of walnut lumber? The answer is you have to plan ahead. Our first task was to figure out how to accurately cut the tabletop components. The solution? Templates. Each template represents a component of the tabletop. We'll use them to help us cut the lumber to lengths, where to form the straight edge, and where to mark the miters. But before anything else, I need to get rid of some bark. Next, I'm going to cross-cut the pieces using our jet chop saw. It's really important to support the long stalk with a stand. Safety gear is important. Protect your eyes, ears, and lungs. After I cut the pieces to length, I marked the ends so I could keep the boards properly in order. Then I went to the planer and I machined them to have two flat parallel surfaces. With that done, I'm going to use the templates again to mark one straight edge on each piece. Then I'll use a track saw to cut those edges. Believe it or not, these straight edges are the first step to cutting accurate miters. Now with the straight edge on each piece, we can get busy cutting those joints we love to hate, miters. Now anytime I'm going to be cutting a miter on expensive stock, like walnut, I like to make a test cut on some less expensive stock just to make sure that the saw is set up accurately. This jet saw was perfect, so we're going to move on to chopping some walnut. While the saw does most of the work, it's the woodworker's job to help it do it accurately. Cut the miters with a slow, steady feed rate. Don't force the cut. You may have noticed these cross hatches. They're simply to help me keep the boards properly aligned later when I'm gluing up so the grain can flow all the way around the table. Drum sanders are a tool that can enhance almost any shop. Now I did face joint and plane these pieces to thickness, but now with sanding I can get a much better look at what the grain looks like, and I'll clean up any minor tear out there might have been during the mitering process. You'll see this tool come in really handy in just a few minutes. The top inside edge of each walnut component has a rabbet formed to accept a piece of glass later on. There's also a groove plowed down the show face of each piece for a bit of inlay that we'll work on next. You can find all the locations and dimensions of these cuts in the project plans. We decided on ash inlay because we thought the contrast would be really attractive. One of the nice things about this drum sander is that I can use it to mill the thickness of the inlay precisely. Once that's done, I cut it to length and we glue it into the grooves. What I'm going to do is put a nice thin coat of glue down, put the inlay in the groove, move it a little bit, and allow the glue to cure. So here's another handy task for the drum sander. Sanding these inlays flush is going to be a piece of cake. We're getting really close to being done with this project. You can see that I've just trimmed the inlays flush to the miters, and now we need to come up with a way to reinforce the miter joints. When you think about it, these miters really have a good amount of glue area because the lumber is so thick. But to make the joints stronger, I'm going to use the beadlock loose tenon system to help me align the joints and to make them stronger. One really important step in any project is to do a dry assembly. It allows you to test, for example, how the fit is on these miters, and then it also allows you to figure out how you're going to place your clamps. After I did that, took it apart, applied some glue, clamped it up overnight, and now the glue is cured. Now we're on to sanding and finishing. A drying oil like this Watco is the perfect finish for air-dried walnut. It just doesn't get any better than this. So that's it. We actually applied 5 coats of Watco to the top of this table and it built up nicely. After it cured, we applied a coat of paste wax. And you can see these rectangular metal legs. They're a perfect complement to the shape of the table. Now here's a special note. Never order your glass for an insert like this until the table is completely done and you can measure the opening. Don't ask me why I know that. So that's it. With the glass in the table, it's now complete. I hope you learned a couple of things and enjoyed this video. I'm Rob Johnstone for Woodworker's Journal. Thanks for watching.